Guincho is a Spanish musician, singer and producer who is known for recording in several different styles. He released his first album in 2007 and he has released 3 more since then. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was El Guincho's second album. It's my first encounter with him in any way. I looked up Alegranza, it might be pronounced, I don't know, but it's Spanish for joy. I also looked up El Guincho and Google Translate said it was Guincho, so I don't know what that actually translates as. Anybody who knows, please do pop me a comment on the comments box. I'd love to know. So this is, it's kind of hard to describe in some ways. It's layered, sampled grooves with some singing on it. It's quite a busy sound to it. And it's kind of been built up from, so that the start and end of tracks, there's often quite a bit of kind of outside crowd, kind of busy place, atmosphere recording stuff. It generally has a kind of carnival feel to it. And the rest is kind of music samples, and I don't know how much they're overlaid and how many different samples there are going on at once, and it's kind of looped. And then there's a reasonable amount of the time there's some singing going on over the top of that as well. I've seen mentions here of both of Tropicalia and Afrobeat, and I get those references, but let me try and explain them then. So Tropicalia was a musical movement in Brazil, which particularly seemed to focus on Latin rhythms, but crossing over into pop and rock, and was quite a kind of upbeat, joyful, happy style of music. And this has that kind of Latin carnival feel, but also combined with a sort of African feel. So Afrobeat is probably the best known person is Fela Kuti, and it's African rhythms, but with a rock band as well, and it's quite repetitive and goes on and on. And African rhythms often have quite a lot of complexity going on. So it's not quite so much rock band as either of those things might suggest, but it does have a lot of rhythmic stuff going on that has that kind of complex rhythm feel. So there's kind of Latin African cross for this rhythmic stuff. So the carnival feel is quite infectious, but it is very samey in that it kind of settles into the groove. We've got things going, and then it just goes on and on and on quite a lot. So this is unlike a lot of other electronica stuff, which where you're expecting there to be changes. Not very often, but kind of every 4 bars, every 8 bars, or something like that, you'll get something to change. In this, the changes are more, it's to do with the singing that sings kind of, different words, presumably, over this. So there are some places where it changes or a beat gets added, but it's a lot fewer than you'd expect from, sample-based work like this. So the singing, I presume, is in Spanish. I don't understand it. Now, apparently, in more recent albums, he's gone down an auto-tune route. I can hear why he might be tempted to do that, because his tuning isn't great. Obviously, I don't understand the words. I'm not sure I'd be able to even necessarily pick out the words a lot, because they're fairly muffled at times. And mostly the words are not repetitive. There are bits where they seem to be a bit more repetitive. I'm wondering if they're kind of, again, sample bits, so they're then repeated rather than the same thing sung over and over again. It feels like it's really all about the feel and the atmosphere. It's not bad. It's got this kind of nice upbeat carnival feel. I don't know if it was just the way I was consuming this, but it didn't seem to be the best recording. So it might be the original recording, or it might be my streaming that I was using. But ultimately, I kind of feel like, in theory, I would like this more than I actually did in practice, because I do like the African stuff. I do like the Brazilian, the Latin stuff. I think the two things that kind of were negative for me were the how little change there was, so it became a bit too dull, and then the singing wasn't great as well in combination. So it was okay, but I wasn't blown over by it. I understand it's quite different to other stuff that's out there, so I respect it for that. Good on you. And as always, I'd love to know what you think, so please do talk to me through the comments box. That's it from me for now.